sponsored by Credible. You get great rates and you don't have to deal with any of the bull. Lakers win. LeBron goes for a triple-double in overtime at the Garden. Father Time and R.J. Barrett nowhere to be found. Here's LeBron postgame.
No, it's not getting heavier because it's, I'm going to do it. I mean, it's just a matter of time and when I'm going to do it. But, so it's not going to get heavy. I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to be in this league for, at least a few more years. So, yeah, I'm going to do it. So it's not heavy at all.
All right, that's LeBron. That was LeBron on the record. He's 89 points away. I don't know what AD was up to there, but what was your reaction? Oh, sorry, Brew, what's your reaction?
First of all, I don't even think that was arrogance on LeBron's part.
No.
It's just like, if he averages 5 points for the next 2 weeks, he's going to do it. Like, he's going to do it, right? I agree with. So I don't think it's pressure. Even with Steph, it's like you got to hit 3-pointers. You got to hit 25-footers to break that record. LeBron, he can drive. He's mid-range. He's going to break it. So I'm totally on board with him there. The question is, how long can he keep this up?
Yeah.
I do think, I don't know this for a fact, I do think, Nick, he's somewhat been motivated by Tom Brady. Like, I really do think, I'm not saying he's going to play till he's 45, but I think, as you said in football, Brady's changed what we think about is possible. I think it may have even opened LeBron's eyes, to what is possible. And we talked about Brady yesterday. His numbers in his 40s are better than in his 20s and 30s for the most part. LeBron's numbers, Nick, 30 points a game he's averaging this year. That's higher than his career average. The 8 rebounds is higher than his career average.
He's almost averaging his career high in rebounds. He's like 0.1 away from his career high. His free throw shooting is back to where it was early in his career, like 77%.
Yeah, now he's not as good as he used to be, or they wouldn't be in the 13th seed or whatever they are, but his numbers are great. And so I think, look, next year he could be a top 10 player still. The year after that, I think he would fall out of the top 10, but still be like a legitimate all-star. And I think the things that are motivated, here's the 3 things he has to avoid. The injury obviously is going to be that he's got a sore foot now. But then he wants to play with his son, Bronny, so I think that's a factor. And I think winning at some point, like if he's on teams that just can't compete, I think that will sour him a bit on continuing to play. So I think those are 3 factors.
So I showed it yesterday. I just want to reference it again because I do not think LeBron's the same guy he once was, but I do think that his ability to impact winning has now become underrated. When he's on the court, the Lakers have a better net rating than the Milwaukee Bucks. And when he's off the court, they have a worse net rating than the Charlotte Hornets. When he's on the court, they play like a contender. The problem is they go to die when he gets his rest, and he has to, at this point in his career, miss games more than not because he gets hurt. I know he did get hurt earlier in the year, but there's more load management now for him than at any time previously. But another night and another LeBron milestone that is just kind of a subhead, right? You said it yesterday on the show, Wiles. I'll give you credit that you're like, hey, this is going to happen and nobody cares.
Yeah, no one cared at all.
The assist thing. So just a little context for what this means. So he's now obviously top 5 scoring and top 5 assists. So this is the all-time assist leaders and their career ranks in scoring. One of those things will stick out to you. And by the way, that second is about to be a first. So what about the other way around? The all-time scoring leaders and their rank in assists. Again, one of those things is going to stick out to you. And the fact that, as Bruce said,
sneaky high.
Listen, some people think Kareem's the second greatest player of all time. But so here's the other part, though, that I wanted to ask you guys about, which is, Brew, you said, so next year he could still be top 10 and the year after. Why do we think he's declining? So LeBron, can I just show you the numbers quickly here? Here's LeBron in the month of January. Now, he's not going to win Western Conference Player of the Month, but he could. Pretty good. And it's 38 minutes per game. 38 minutes per game. But the more noteworthy thing is this. LeBron's first 3 years with the Lakers, he was 26 a game on 50% in 34 minutes per game. His last 2 years, he's 30 a game on 52% in 37 minutes per game. His last 2 years, as far as what he's done, has been better. Now, the team hasn't been as good, and if you want to say his defense has slipped, I will agree with you. But Wildes, the fact that he's doing this at year 20 means to me, I don't think we can just bake in, he's good. The inevitable decline is coming next year because we thought it was coming 4 years ago.
I'll throw this to you, bro. After the Celtics game, everybody was furious at the referees, even though everyone knows when you play Little League that there are 1,000 decisions that affect the final outcome of the game. And I don't know if it was LeBron or AD. It was like, we can't afford to miss these games, to lose these games when we're so close to being in. And then it's a back-to-back, and everybody sits out. And Patrick Beverly and Russ have to try to get a win against a Brooklyn team without Ben and without KD, and Kyrie goes off and wins. And then last night, you won. So you're like, all right, this is where we're at. We're going to play. We can't play back-to-backs, and we're going to go 1 for 2 in New York. I think that hurts, and it doesn't hurt like a big age-induced injury, but it's this little attrition where old LeBron would have won those 2 games. And
but
current LeBron wins 1 out of 2.
I'll tell you why. Like, he's clearly not what he used to be.
I agree.
Because one of the things LeBron's always been able to do is control a game. Because let's just keep it real. He's been a point guard.
Of course.
All right, throughout his career, he's been bringing the ball up 70% of the time. That allowed him to control tempo, and that's one of the big things that enabled him to take teams that weren't that talented so deep into the playoffs and some of them to the finals. I think the Lakers would be better if LeBron just had the ball in his hands and was doing what he's always done. But guess what? He can't do that anymore. He doesn't have the stamina and the energy to be like the point guard anymore for 35 minutes a night. So I think now what you're seeing is he's a scorer. And I think that's that energy. And then, of course, you mentioned the defense. So he can't control the game like he used to.
I agree with that entirely. What I'm asking is, I think we have the wrong conversation. We compare LeBron to old LeBron.
That's fair.
Instead, can we compare LeBron to current players? So if the games missed is a problem, fine. He's played more games this year than Durant or Curry, the other 2 old, awesome players, but he's way older. So he is, and defense, if we're going to say the defense is the problem, you can't tell me that he's right now even at a far lesser defender, a worse defender than Steph Curry is. You can't tell me that. Now, is he a worse defender than Durant? Yes, absolutely. Durant's actually turned himself into an excellent defender. So LeBron's now played 41 games. Durant's played 39 and is still hurt. Steph's played 35. So I feel like LeBron sometimes is a victim of his own previous greatness.
That's fair.
That we're like, he isn't. I totally agree he's not what he was 6 years ago, 8 years ago, 10 years ago, any of that. But what he is right now is still as good as anybody in the league except for 4 guys. There's only 4 guys that you can hands down right now say have a bigger impact on winning than him. Giannis, Luka, Jokic, and Durant. And Steph, so 5 guys. And Steph as well. Yeah. Those 5 guys. And he plays more than 2 of them. Steph and Durant. So it just, to me, we're having the wrong conversation here. And why can't the Lakers compete in a night that he doesn't play? Because the roster stinks. And
they're
trade
not
deadline
even
is
that
8 days
good
away.
when he and AD are together. At least so far they haven't been. I want to see him for a stretch where AD's playing well and LeBron is there and see if they can start winning, because I think they're under 500 even when those 2 play.
Coming up next, more Tom Brady talk. Are you buying that the comeback is not going to happen? Guess what? Mangini doesn't. We'll give you the scenario next.